me feel good.
So welcome to issue 32 and 34. So as you can see, this is, I've just marked this off, this is 32 and this is 34, and we're gonna do these simultaneously. The reason being, I said lots of times, but I like to have both wheels on or none at all. So what I'm going to do is I will start on step one of stage 32, which is assembling the wheel, and that is exactly the same as step 1 of stage 34. So what I'll do is I will start to assemble this. We will need one tire, and we will need the inner ring. So this is part A, which is the left rear tire, and part 32D, which is the outer wheel, and that's going to go into there hard as you can. Don't push it all the way through, as I almost did there, but just simply like that. Then we need to take part 32E, which is the inner wheel, and you see I'm going to call this the bottom. That's going to go in like so. What we need to do, you can see that you've got some screw pegs there and you've got some screw holes there. You need to match those up. It doesn't matter which way round these go, but they do need to be matched up. And if you're anything like me, you will not get these touching. That's not a problem. So what we'll finish that off with 3 cm screws. So 1, 2, I've got 3 out there. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the first one in, but just enough so that it bites. There we go. And that's probably almost all the way in. And then I will put the second one in just so that it bites. And you might need to push down fairly hard. And once that's in, that's fine. And you see this left one is just going to need a bit of help. Because these two are pushing down on these two, it's pushing that one up. This is why I don't like to screw them all the way in. And there we go. And this one can now go in all the way. It doesn't want to go in all the way. There we go. And then we'll go back to one of the other screws. We'll push that in all the way. And then the third one, this is actually quite hard work. There we go. So that is that's the tire complete. That's the left and rear wheel. So I'm going to speed this up and do the second tire, which is stage 34. But once we've done that, it's then done. Okay, so step 2 of stage 32, we need to be taking stage 30F, which is the left rear backing plate. Now if you remember, we made 2. So what I've actually done is I put masking tape on. So what I'm going to do is this right one, I'm going to put that with the right tyre. So now we know we're working with the right one. So I can remove this masking tape now, and there we go. I'll get rid of that, pop that in the bin. So we now need to take 32H, which is the brake fluid hose 3. So I'm just going to double check my instructions, the parts, sorry. Now we have 3 different hoses, so let's get all of the hoses out. And we have 1, 2 and 3, and they actually look like there's 3 different sizes. So let's find out which one of these is the longest. So that looks like the longest, not by an awful lot though. And then I can see these remaining 4 are all the same length. So let's see how much longer these are. Yeah, it's only longer by about 1 centimetre. There's not much in it. So that's F, that's G, and this is H. So let's make life easier for ourselves by marking them. So this is F, this is G, and this is H. And we've done work on hoses before, so I'm going to get a cocktail stick ready just in case I need to enlarge it. So we need to take 2 of these. I'll just move the magazine out of the way. When I move the magazine away as well, it actually looks like I'm doing it without looking. So we have got 2 pegs. You can see them better that way. And oops, all we're going to do with the correct glasses on, I keep forgetting to change glasses, I do apologise guys. So let's put my glasses up there, give them a bit of a wipe because they're full of muck. That's better, I can see now. So we're going to push one hose onto one of these pegs, and it looks like this one might actually go. No, it's not. It doesn't want to go all the way, so I'm just going to pop a cocktail stick in there. Just make that slightly wider, and by the time if we left this overnight, that hole will all go back to its normal. This hose will all stretch back. It's a little bit like memory plastic. So there's the first one in. So have a look at this one. So I would suspect, you know I don't have a great knowledge of vehicles, but I suspect these hoses are for the delivery of brake fluid. And I imagine that's rather important because that Cadillac looks rather heavy. So I imagine it would need rather good brakes to stop it. Right, there we go. That is the first half of stage 2. So what we need to do now is, in fact, shall we do stage 34? Let me just check. Right, so we can... Do you know what? It doesn't say anything about the other side in any of the... But we must put them in. F 31F, 32F. Right. Okay guys, I'm going to study the instructions a little bit further, and then I'm going to get my my chassis in, and then we'll continue. I'll see you in about a second. So the next stage, we're going to have to put this this wheel on. Now I'm using the right side here just to demonstrate, but you'll see there's a little notch in there, and that will line up with a notch on there. And when you do, this is both the same for both sides, you're looking to get this detailed bit further up. Now this is upside down compared to the instructions, but what we're going to do is we're going to place that on, then turn it over. So I've just turned it over. So you're going to get this roughly towards the top of the model, and as you turn it there, it will kind of lock in place like so. It won't stay there until we've got the wheel on, but that is the location that it's going to go into. Once we place the wheel on, which this is actually the wrong side, but don't worry, that will then hold that on, and then the wheel will turn, but this bit, as you can see, that will rotate round like, well, the wheel will rotate, but the disc will stay the same. So let's try and get this left side on. So let's switch to overhead. So perhaps you can see now why I just tried to demonstrate on the right hand side. So here is the left side, and we've got this detailing wants to go downwards. We want to bring these wires, these tubes in over the exhaust pipe there, underneath this piece here, and they don't want to go under. There we go. And for now I'm just going to leave them there. So pop that in and just rotate it, so now we know the rough position. And these wires, obviously having a mind of their own, are going to rotate to where they want. So I want to get this one. This isn't playing ball. And this one is, this is very, very long. It's going to connect there, and it's going to be very, very tight to get it in. Hopefully it will go. There's just so little room in here. And I think I've got it in. I think I've got the end on. All I can really do is just push that on as best I can. Do you know, I think that is on. Right, and then this one is going to come underneath the prop shaft, and that's going to go onto this one there. Apologise if you can't see. This one's going to be a little bit easier to get on because we're going to have more room. Need no, that's not coming on. Right, so I think I'll get the cocktail stick and just make that bigger. Always try without the cocktail stick, because if it was always going to fit in the first place and then we make it bigger, we could make it too big. There we go, that's going on. So, what to do with these wires? I really don't know, because looking at the magazine, oh, that's just come off. That looks to be more like this length. So, okay, have a look at the other pipes. So we have 4 pipes left over. 2 are going to go across here like so, and then these 2 are going to go there. So I really don't know. Right, I'm going to fit them as they are for now, and then I can always cut them later if I need to. But if I cut them now and I shouldn't have cut them, then obviously I can't make them grow back. So let's see if I can get this back on again. This is the awkward one because there just isn't really much space here. You can see the gap there is very, very small, and I'm actually debating whether to unscrew this. Do you know, I think I will. I think that's going to be the easiest way to do it. So I don't like unscrewing parts because I feel it's never as strong when you put the screw back in next time, but it's going to give us a lot more room, isn't it? So the fact that this came off suggests to me that I didn't really get it on in the first place, and I can see there's still a little gap, probably only about 1 millimetre. There we go, that's on. So now I can manipulate that back in. So I might be coming back to this and cutting the pipe. As you see, there's quite a lot of excess pipe. So I'm just going to tuck it under for now. So make sure this wheel is on properly, which it's moved, but I knew it would move because there's nothing securing it. Okay, so that's that part on. So the next part is to get two more, last remaining two H cables, and there's 4 cables left. And if you remember, F, G and H is the longest. No, let's check our instructions. So G is our longest and H are our middle ones. So just to double check, I'll bring all of the pipes down to the same start point. There we go. And there I can see that's the short one, and I can see that's the long one. So that leaves these two. So what we want to do now, I'm going to just bring my overhead camera down. So on this shock absorber you've got 2 points, and then obviously on the other one you've got 2 more. And what we're going to want to do here is connect one pipe from the bottom peg. Oh, I thought that was going to, yep, that went on. So that connects onto there. I'm going to have to move my light so I can get my head in. And that's that one on. And then the second one joins the lower. Although it looks like the upper from here, it's actually the lower because the whole thing is upside down. So that's those. Now, according to the magazine, that should be pretty much a straight line. However, I have missed one step out, which is to put this little piece in here, but I think we'll get away with that. This is a small little clamp, and what it's going to do is it's going to go in there. It's just going to clamp those 2 wires down, and then that will be attached with a GM screw, which is this one here, and I have absolutely no idea how we're expected to get into there. So let's pop this clamp in with some tweezers, and yeah, I've got absolutely no idea how we're expected to do that. It definitely, the screw definitely comes in from above, so you can't even see it. That's right. I'm going to have to pull these off then. Just tuck them out of the way. So how are we supposed to do this? think I'm going to have to use a long screwdriver with a thinner head. I'm literally doing this by feel, because I can't see in, and obviously if I'm doing it by feel, I then run the risk of scratching it, and I can't get in there. So I wonder if perhaps they should have given us this part in an earlier stage, because it just seems ludicrous. If they'd given it to us before we installed this, that would have gone in no problems. So, sorry guys, I am complaining, aren't I? The design on this overall is actually pretty amazing, but it's just these tiny bits that let it down, and it's also why my videos are so long. And on top of that, I'm actually unscrewing it, not screwing it. So I'm sorry, I'm going to have to move the camera. There we go. I think that's in, and I've actually had to watch that on the monitor because I couldn't actually see that in real life. So that's how mad it is. So we're going to have to thread this in through, and that goes in under there. And remembering which one it is, it's the bottom one, so I think I'll connect that up before I thread the second one through. Can we still see that, guys? No, we can't. So I do apologise if I've made you dizzy. There we go, that's the first one through. Second one is a little bit harder because obviously there isn't so much room, but that's through. And actually, to be honest with you, it seems to have taken a bit of the slack up. I still think those cables are too long. I'll do my best to even them out a bit. There we go. That's not perfect, but it's quite a lot of slack on there. So that's those in, so that's stage 3 complete. So that leaves us with one more thing to do. Sorry, one more thing to do on this stage, and that is to pop the wheel on. So I am actually going to just move this onto its side. So again, I apologise for moving the cameras around, but this is what happens when you do large models. You do have to turn them around. So that's obviously come loose, so we need to place that on so that it locks into place, and then we place the wheel on top, and I think that's in place now. Yeah. So then we need to secure that down with an LM screw, which is this one. And that goes into the middle. Now hopefully this wheel will be in nice and solid. There's no washer or anything in there. Quite often they give you a washer, don't they? Or a top hat screw. That's rather loose. Okay. Right, that I am not happy with. Right, so something has gone wrong because they've given us a screw that's too small. So I'm double checking right. So there is definitely no washer on there. So I'm looking ahead at stage. Right, okay guys, I'm going to have to take a stop and I'm going to have to look back at the front wheels to see how they were attached. So I'll see you in about a second. Okay, so please forgive me, I'm feeling rather silly right now. I'm just missing so much stuff out now. So when this wheel goes on like so, this actually goes over the top and it's this piece that's holding it in. Now there is a hole there and that's going to go over the valve, tyre valve, whatever you want to call the part where you blow the tyres up, and there we go, that's going to click into place, and then we will place the LM screw in, and that will also perhaps make it buckle less. So I feel really daft now because I've missed such an obvious bit out and I can't believe I've done that. So there we go, that's on there solid. Now that is rather stiff, so I'm just going to back that screw off, probably quarter of a turn, a bit more. There we go, and that's moving quite freely, so that's lovely. Right, so I will then finish that off with a cap, and that's this piece here, and that's just going to go in like so, and that's a push fit connection, and that's not going to go anywhere. So yeah, I'm sorry guys, I feel a bit daft. How can I forget that? So to finish off stage 34 now, so we have made the wheel. Sorry, we first of all need to finish off stage 33 because we didn't make the disc. I couldn't see the point in making that disc at the time. So I'm really struggling with this chassis. It's so big and it's so heavy. Right, so we have got I've got tangled up with wires now, so let's bring this overhead camera in just a little bit closer. So we have the right wheel, sorry, the right disc, and we need to be aware of how this is going to go. So when it's on, because of the detail at the top, it's going to go on that way, and the two tubes that we've got left, we have the short one and the long one. Now it's really not that clear, but it looks like the one on this side, closest to the back, is going all the way to there. So that's going to need to be the long one. So that means the long one is going to be on this side. So if I'm wrong, please correct me. There we go, that's on. So that means by process of elimination, the second one is going here. Right, so then that can go in there underneath. There we go. In and out. In and out. So let's deal with that. Actually, let's take this one out. Let's deal with one at a time. So this one is going on to the end there. Can you see that? Okay, guys. No, you can't. So that's I don't want to take this off because I think there's enough room. Yeah, there's enough room. So the short one has gone under the leaf spring, over the exhaust, underneath this bar, and it's popped up there. And the long one is going in the same direction, but it's going to continue underneath the crankshaft. Oops. It's going to come up about there. I don't think that would be right in real life because I'm sure that would get tangled up. But it won't do on the model, will it? Right, that's too tight. So, cocktail stick to the rescue. So, there we go. So that's in place. Now I am convinced that those wires are too long, those tubes. I really am not happy, but I don't want to just go chopping around with things. And there I've actually got a wire trapped. So, in trying to untrap it, I pulled it off. Can't do anything about it. I can't. So, right. The problem with a lot of these is because you're stretching the tube to get them on, they will stay stretched. And if they fall off, they're generally not going to stay on. So, I might have to look into that. Right, okay, so that's that on. So this this disc there is locked in place there. So the next step then is to jump to stage 34. So we need to place the wheel on, which is going on here, without knocking that disc off. There we go. And then we want, in fact, I'm going to switch you to body cam. There we go. So that wheel is on there. There's your valve, your tyre valve, and there's your hole there. So that hole needs to go. Now I find if you put the hole over the valve cap, it tends to go in a bit better. And then we will secure that with an LM screw. I've got screw pots all over the place, in the way. Screw that up almost as tight as it will go, if it ever stops screwing. There we go. So that's too stiff, so I'm going to back that off, maybe just a quarter more. There we go. So it is quite stiff, but there's movement there. I mean, I'm not, when this model's finished, I'm not going to be pushing it around the floor all over the place, so I'm not particularly bothered that it doesn't move too much. but obviously I want it to move a little bit. So we'll finish this video off with this little cap, which we will push in there, and that's in securely. So the wheels aren't buckled, front or the back, so I'm rather happy with that. So let's attempt to do an overhead, and let's place it on its wheels properly for its first time ever. So let's move this camera out of the way. So lift this up. Ooh. Roll this camera down. Roll the towel down. And there we go, guys. So that is pretty much the full length of the build. How about that then, guys? We've got the back wheels in place and we've got front wheels. We've got steering, which I would strongly advise you to not play with until we've got something more in there, but also don't play with the steering while the front wheels are on the surface. If we can find some way to prop this up just so that the wheels are just a millimetre off the ground, that would be a lot better. So that's this build done. Now I thought that was going to be two very short builds, but I can see that it's over half an hour's worth of build. So I apologise for the length. I apologise for the big mistake that I made in missing that wheel out. I don't know what happened there. So I'm actually having real problems with this build. I seem to get all the problems here, but onwards and upwards. We have another pack to come next week. At the time of recording, I have absolutely no idea what that's going to be, and I will bring this up at the end of the video, but that's all I know. That part there looks a bit like a steering wheel, and I would say that bit there is perhaps a radiator. Having said that, we've got a radiator, so I don't know. I do not know. So let's see what we get next week. So take care, guys. Have a fabulous week, and I will see you for 2 more episodes next time. Bye bye.